I'm going to start with effleurage as a massaging technique. First, I need to expose the muscle that I'll be massaging, which is going to be the hamstring. By using towels, it will obviously keep your client warm and keep everything else covered. So I'll start by doing this. You need to make sure you expose the whole portion of the muscle so you know that you are massaging it all. So before actually starting massaging, you need to make sure that your hands are washed and cleaned. Nails need to be cut to the right length. Hair needs to be up, preferably in a bun, because if it's in a ponytail it can still interfere if it's very long. No jewellery or long sleeve clothing below the arm, just so then you can use your elbow and your forearm during massaging. So using the preferred lotion or potion, at the moment I've only got oil. You'll start to rub it in your hands to warm up your hands for the client. So effleurage is a technique used at the start, middle and end of a massage. It's to get the client used to the touch of the therapist. You want to start off by using a light pressure, and this should cause erythema, which is reddening of the skin, and it will help to start with circulation of blood flow. You should always do your movements towards the heart, because that's the way blood flow goes. Moving on to a deeper massage, so this will start to help increase lymphatic drainage, the interchanging of tissue fluid, and removing chemical irritations. Throughout this, you should always ask your client how they're feeling and how the pressure is. So how is the pressure for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Lovely. The skin will also vasodilate, and this is why the skin will start to go red, which is also called erythema. But it can take different times for different clients, so at the moment my client is starting to go a bit red, but not drastically yet. Petrissage is also known as kneading. This technique will help get deeper into the muscle and create heat by using your palms, your fingers or your thumbs, okay? So the first one I'm going to show you is it's called lifting. So you want to make sure that you roll the leg up and you're not grabbing the skin, you're grabbing the muscle and working your fingers into it, okay? Same again, this technique helps with lymphatic drainage and venous return. Okay. Moving on to the next technique of petrissage is something called ringing. This is back and forth motions, like so, working your fingers and your thumbs into the muscle. Sometimes it's easier to go across the body, especially with lifting, because then you can pull it back over to yourself, like so. And the types of petrissage movements will help with strength of connective tissues. Back to ringing, and then you can always, once you finish petrissage, you can go back into effleurage. Moving on to the next massaging technique is called tapotement. So tapotement will stimulate the nerve endings by short, strike movements. So I'll show you for you. I'm going to lean over the client again so it's easy to see. So starting with hacking. Hacking is a rhythmical movement. You want to make sure your hands are nice and loose when you're hitting the body. Next one is cupping with arch-shaped hand. You move up and down the leg, like so. Next one is beating. So with your knuckles, moving up and down the leg, like so. keeping a nice loose wrist, and then pounding. So using your little fingers, like hacking, but with a fist, not a tight fist, quite a loose fist, up and down the muscle. Making sure that with all these movements, the wrist is nice and loose, and so are the fingers, so it doesn't create a hard tap on the skin. And with these movements, it will stimulate the nerve endings, and it will cause contractions, voluntary and involuntary, of the muscles. So moving on to neuromuscular techniques, this is going to be trigger points. So way to find trigger points during the massage or before is palpating now, up and down the leg, or during a massage, especially doing effleurage, when you're obviously doing your strokes, you might feel a tender point. So I'm just going to see if I can find anything on the body. Just going to move over this side. Just using your thumbs and fingers to find a tender spot. Okay. So once you find a trigger point, it'll be like a knot of some sort. You want to apply a static pressure, and the scale of this is a VAS scale, which is 0 to 10. You don't want to go above an 8 because that will cause too much pressure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put pressure onto the trigger point, and I'm going to ask my client when it goes on to either between a 5 or a 7 scale of pain. When that happens, I will hold that for at least 10 seconds, release. That will then flush out anything there and cause blood circulation to it. So the importance of the neuromuscular techniques is it will cause reflex benefits such as neuroinhibition, and it will increase lymphatic and general circulation of the body all around this area, and drainage due to that flushing. Okay, so I'm going to apply pressure into this knot. Tell me when it's at a 5 or between a 7.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also going to say if you feel any easing.
Yeah, it's easing.
Okay, a couple more seconds. Brilliant. This should be applied to another 2 or 4 times, depends how many times you want to do it, and then it should be finished with this stretch. I think it's going to be soft tissue release. So this is when I ask the client, or I do it myself actively or passively, to shorten the muscle and into a neutral position. I then lock into the muscle where a trigger point could be, okay, like so. And then I'm going to ask the client, or I help her, bring her leg down slowly while holding the lock in place, like so. Okay, brilliant. And then I can repeat this as many times, working down the leg, so distally. So soft tissue release will help with lengthening muscle and fascia due to the locking and then lengthening it, and improves. Yeah. Okay.
Carry on talking.
It also helps with realignment of tissue and remodelling, reduces with strain of soft tissue, and it re-educates muscle memory. So the next technique is for stretching, and these are called muscle energy techniques, METs for short. And in this one I'm going to do post-isometric relaxation. So I'm going to bring the leg up with a straight leg like this, and make sure the knee is straight. Put her heel on my shoulder like so. And with post-isometric relaxation, it's done on a scale of, damn it, why am I talking about that? Right, so again. Okay. So this is stretching techniques, METs, which is muscle energy techniques. An overview of this is it helps strengthen weakened muscles and increases flexibility to the muscle due to stretching it, and helps joint mobilisation. So post-isometric relaxation is done by stretching out the leg chosen. So you want to make sure the whole leg is straight, place the heel against the shoulder, and you're going to ask your client to take a deep breath in and then push against you at 30% force. Okay? And then they're going to hold their breath in for 10 seconds and okay, and then take a deep breath out and relax. Lovely. Okay, and then in that relaxation stage, you're going to push their leg further, and then they're going to take another deep breath in and hold that again for 10 seconds. And then relax. Brilliant. This can be repeated for another 3 or 4 times, depending on how you think their range of movement is improving.